With Brendan Carr of the FCC and Trump threatening broadcasting licenses, TV hosts, they need to be careful. You see, I would tell Fox to be most careful, but look, here's what we know. We know the ideology is, well, free speech for me, but not for thee. Look, welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. So do me a favor. This stuff's important. Hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share because the stupidity, the lunacy, it's not stopping. Now, Fox's Brian Kilmeade, he should be especially careful after he called for homeless people to be euthanized. But instead, Fox, well, they're just allowing him to have free reign. Play the clip.
More on that later. The point is that Kimmel's comments went way too far for some television executives. Not for me, not for you, but for them. And they turned up the heat on Kimmel, the host, to calm down the rhetoric.
Look, Jesse Waters, he goes on and he says that lots of people get suspended in this industry. Sure, just not from Fox. Play the clip.
Ross, they suspend a lot of people. A lot of people in this business get suspended when we say obnoxious things, racist, sexist, untrue things, unethical things. It's a high wire act, and sometimes we screw up, and he screwed up, so he got benched. Big deal. Sometimes the networks get it right, and sometimes they get it wrong. Sometimes they go too far, and sometimes they don't go far enough.
Yeah, let me be clear. If anything that you just said was true, your ass would have been off television a very, very long time ago, Jesse. Now, Fox continues to throw themselves under the bus. Host Harris Faulkner, he said that the most ironic comment about being careful is about with what you say. Play that clip.
Well, and it's more speech, not less speech. I mean, you often hear me say that. It's because that's really what we want. We want an open market for speech. But speech comes with more than responsibility, more than accountability. It comes with the expectation that we'll have integrity when we use our speech. And so there should be consequences that are appropriate, for the people who are affected by it. Like, you can't put the public in danger with your words. You can't incite things after an assassination. You can't vilify one side if it's not true, like those types of things. But where we are right now is, I think, in a perilous position, too. I don't want us to say that we can just shut each other down without some thought about that. But the FCC has kind of backed out of its role. It hasn't really been enforcing things the way that it had been when it was first in position to do so. That's one. And the other really is ABC only flexed. His ratings are down. CBS, this isn't their first rodeo. Remember the Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson thing? They've learned some lessons with the broadcast side. You remember the wardrobe malfunction? So they know that this can cost money in the end. So I've been saying, look, they knew who they hired. Eventually he was going to step on a nail in the sidewalk and it was going to be bad. That's who he is on the air. I mean, he's lost his funny.
Yeah, first of all, he hasn't lost his funny. Second of all, I certainly remember when you guys were vilifying me based upon what? The Steele dossier? Oh, yeah, that turned out to be 100% false. But you know who never turned around and apologized? You never even acknowledged that they were wrong? Well, many people, many people. But you too, Fox. Now, Trump on Air Force One yesterday, he said that people who give him bad press, who say bad things about him, should have their licenses revoked. Play that clip.
Yeah, go ahead. Anybody else?
Mr. President, who would you like to see? Mr. President, are you going to ask Brendan Carr to weigh in on other late-night hosts that you have said should be off the air?
Late-night host is on network television. There is a licensing. I'll give you an example. I read someplace that the networks were 97% against me. I got 97% negative, and yet I won it easily. I won all 7 swing states, popular, I won everything. And if they're 97% against, they give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. It will be up to Brendan Carr. I think Brendan Carr is outstanding. He's a patriot. He loves our country, and he's a tough guy. So we'll have to see.
What is the free speech issue?
When you think about this, 97% of the stories are opposed to me, and yet I win easily the election. It's pretty amazing when you think of it. That shows they have no credibility. Go ahead.
I was just going to agree with. I mean, could you use that same logic with news? If someone,
Yeah, and yet, Brendan Carr is nothing but a sycophant and an enabler. Speaking of him, FCC Chair Brendan Carr, he said that we should go back to an era where local TV stations got to decide what Americans think. Huh? Media? They don't control people. That's not what their job is supposed to be. Play the clip.
And so again, we're going back to that era when local TV stations judging the public interest get to decide what the American people think. And again, we're constraining the power through those actions of Disney, of Comcast. I think the American public are going to be much better off. But yeah, I don't think this is the last shoe to drop. This is a massive shift that's taking place in the media ecosystem. And I think the consequences are going to continue to flow.
Yeah, because that's what the president wants. And you're willing to do whatever he says. Now, MAGA Mike Johnson, he goes on and says that we have to guard freedom of speech and that people don't have a First Amendment right to stay employed. The hell is this idiot talking about? Play the clip.
You're right. Charlie Kirk was all about free speech and going around the country and engaging. What do you say to Democrats or folks on the left who say that there is now this effort to go after free speech on the left? You have just last night ABC suspending Jimmy Kimmel indefinitely over his remarks after Charlie Kirk's death. Then you have Democrats saying that like Adam Schiff, Kimmel, Colbert, suits against the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, 60 Minutes. They're concerned what will be left of the First Amendment when the president is done. How do you respond to that?
Well, listen, my background is in the courts. I was a federal court litigator, literally defended free speech as a career for about 20 years, religious freedom and the freedom of speech and our fundamental rights. We have to jealously guard that, you know, and I think we are. ABC is a private company. You've heard a lot of consternation about private companies firing or reprimanding employees for going online and glorifying the tragic death of a young father and young husband, and it's detestable. So in the private employer space, you have all the right in the world to have standards for your company, standards for your broadcast brand, and you know, they get to make that decision. And I don't think that's a violation of the First Amendment. You don't have a First Amendment right to stay employed if you're going to engage in that kind of crazy action online. And in many cases, it really is inciting further violence. It's a serious problem.
Ending where we began.
Boy, talk about somebody who's able to spin stupidity into insanity, serious into total lunacy. What the hell are you talking about? This was nothing more than fear of losing their license, which the FCC controls. And I don't care what Brendan Carr or anybody else says, this was the desire of the president. Now, I want to show you a clip of Senator Roger Marshall, because maybe there should be consequences for what people say. Play that clip.
And we are just committed to fulfilling his mission going forward. So, you know, the libs that killed Charlie Kirk, you know, we're not done yet. We're going to honor his life and fulfill his mission and bring life to his long-term mission here.
Yeah. Again, what is this guy talking about? First of all, where does he get the information that it was libs? Again, there is no motive that has been established yet. But clearly, Roger, he knows more. Now, Kayleigh McEnany, she goes on, of course, television, trying to justify Kimmel's suspension by saying that Charlie Kirk has no rights because he's dead. Play that clip.
It's just a shame. And he should know better as a grown man in show business. People are acting like, you know, he's just some homeless guy screaming things on the corner. This guy is at ABC. When's the last time ABC tolerated much, let alone this?
Right. You know, I'm watching some of the liberal networks. I've never heard them care about the Constitution so much. Their First Amendment. This has nothing to do with the First Amendment. This has to do with the business decision, as you noted. And for all the concern about the First Amendment, I mean, they're apoplectic, Jesse. What about all the amendments that Charlie Kirk lost, because Charlie Kirk has no amendments right now, none. And the outrage I see over Jimmy Kimmel, I wish I would have seen that for the death of a father and a husband who should still be here.
Yeah, they got their priorities all out of whack.
Yeah. Let me be very clear about something. You know who else doesn't have any amendments? Kaylee. You know who doesn't? Melissa Hortman. You know who else doesn't have it? Her husband. They don't have First Amendment rights either. They don't have Second Amendment. They don't have any of the amendments. They too are deceased. Oh yeah, that one happens to be a right-winger. But this isn't supposed to be about blaming anybody. This is pure and simple about the First Amendment. And if there's anybody that understands an administration that's willing, Bill Barr, hello, that's willing to violate somebody's First Amendment constitutional rights, to jail them, and not because I say so, because Judge Alvin K. Hellerstein, thank God we got Alvin K. Hellerstein, that my lawyer, Danya Perry, got lucky and we got Alvin K. Hellerstein, who dismissed it and called it retaliation because I refused to waive my First Amendment constitutional rights. I don't want to be the litmus test of more of this to come. And that's why I have been yelling from the rooftops about the dangers of not just the administration, but the people that Trump had put into power. Now, finally, I want to show you a clip of Governor Tim Walz talking about how America is starting to look a lot like North Korea. Play that clip.
Oh, hi, Chris. Good to see you. Oh, this is it. If you ever wondered how democracy dies, you're witnessing it. And I know it's people are watching a football game tonight and we're kind of sleepwalk through this thing, but
don't remind them.
We got him here. One of the most outrageous affronts. Yeah, well, right. It's one of the most outrageous affronts on this. This is North Korea style stuff. And it's being done because this is a weak, thin-skinned man who's failing as a president. All of the things he promised are not happening. And this is exactly what dictators do. It's our most cherished freedom to point out very clearly this is a terrible president and a terrible human being who is doing nothing to improve the lives of Minnesotans.
Yeah, let me be very clear about something. The ones who are failing us are our members of Congress on both sides of the aisle. Just because Trump wants to do this doesn't mean that they have to go along with it. Doesn't mean that they have to sit back. Going on and talking to Chris Hayes, it's not doing shit. Do something about it. How about go meet up with one of your, I don't know, Republican colleagues and have a long conversation with them about the dangers of losing the First Amendment. Because if you lose the First Amendment, you lose the Second, Third, Fourth, Fifth, et cetera, et cetera. No amendment can exist without the First. So how about do something like that? How about do something positive to make a change? Sitting there and bashing or thinking that you're hurting Donald Trump because you say something mean about him, it's not doing anything. You're making yourself look small. You make yourself look weak. Do something about it, like what we're trying to do. Grow a community. Make sure that you do bring somebody from the other side over. And there are several. I saw Josh Hawley talk about it just the other day. Josh Hawley. There are members of the Republican Party that do not want to see America become North Korea, Tim. So do something about it. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.